There is a number on the dealer's computer that changes the second you say the word cash. It goes up, not down. Most folks believe that walking in with a check in their shirt pocket makes them the strongest buyer on the lot. And the truth is, it makes them the easiest person in the building to hold firm on price. So what do you say when the salesman leans back in his chair and asks how you plan on paying for it? Let me put you in the chair first, because I want you to see it the way I saw it for 22 years. It is a Saturday, around 4 in the afternoon. You are sitting at a small desk in a big open room with 8 other desks just like it. There is a coffee ring on the wood. There is a plastic sign on the wall about our commitment to you. The salesman has been gone for 11 minutes, and you can see him through the glass, standing next to a taller man in a better shirt, and they are both looking at a piece of paper. On that paper are 4 boxes: price of the car, value of your trade, money down, monthly payment. We called it the 4 square. Every dealership in this country has some version of it. It is not a worksheet, it is a shell game. There are 4 numbers, and only one of them is the one you actually care about, and the whole point of the paper is to keep your eyes moving so you never hold still long enough to do the math. And before he walked back to that desk, he told the taller man one thing about you. One sentence. That sentence decided how much you were going to pay. The sentence was, "He is paying cash." My name is Ray Corbin. I sold cars for 22 years. 6 of those years, I ran the finance office, which is the little room at the end of the hall with the door that closes. I have sat on the other side of that desk from about 9,000 people. I have written the 4 square. I have walked to the tower. I have said the words, "Let me see what I can do," knowing full well I was going to come back and do nothing. And I am telling you plainly, the cash buyers were the best days I had. Not because they were rude. They were usually the nicest people who came in all week. Careful people, savers, folks who did it right, who put money away for 4 years so they would never owe a bank a dollar. Good people. And they walked in and announced it at the door like it was a badge, and they paid more than the fellow behind them who financed a car through the same store on the same afternoon. I know because I got paid on both of them. Quick word before I go further. The desk tricks I learned in 22 years, there is more of it than fits in any one video. I gathered the whole of it into a book you can buy in our pinned comment below. The book is the long version. If you want it, it is there. I will not mention it again. The first car I ever bought for myself, I was 24 years old and I did the same thing. I had $11,000 in a credit union account and I was proud of it. I set the cashier's check on the desk before we talked about the car. I thought I was showing strength. I was showing my whole hand to a man who did this all day, every day. And I paid about $1,400 more than I should have for a 4-year-old sedan. Nobody lied to me, nobody cheated me. I simply told them there was no reason to move, so they did not move. That is the part nobody explains. The dealer is not trying to beat you. The dealer is trying to make a certain amount of money on your car, total, from every direction at once. And when you take away 3 of those directions, he has to get all of it from the one direction that is left, which is the price of the car, your price. So here is the question, and I want you to sit with it for a second before I answer it. If you have the money, and you are not going to borrow it, and you have no intention of paying $1 of interest to anybody, why on earth would the way you pay change what the car costs? The answer is where the whole thing lives. A dealership makes money in 2 places. Salespeople call them the front end and the back end. The front end is the car, the difference between what the store paid for it and what you paid for it. On a new car in this country, that number is thin, thinner than you think. On a lot of new vehicles, it is a few $100s, sometimes less than that. And there are cars that get sold at a loss on purpose to hit a bonus. The back end is everything that happens after you shake hands. The financing, the warranty, the gap coverage, the paint sealant, the tire and wheel plan, the little room at the end of the hall. At most stores, the back end makes more money than the front end. Not a little more, more. The average finance office in this country is pulling well over $1,000 per vehicle. And at a good store, it is closer to $2,000. Now here is the piece almost nobody knows. When you finance a car through the dealership, the dealer does not lend you the money. A bank does. A credit union does. Or the car company's own bank does, like Ford Credit, or Toyota Financial Services, or Honda Financial Services. The dealer sends your application out, and the bank sends back an interest rate. Say the bank says 5 9/10%. The dealer is allowed to sell you that loan at a higher rate than the bank quoted, usually up to about 2 percentage points higher. The difference is called dealer reserve, and the bank pays it to the store as a check. On a $35,000 loan over 60 months, 2 points of markup is somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,200 to $1,600, paid to the dealership for doing paperwork. So walk into that store and tell them you are paying cash and you have just taken $1,600 off the table before you ever sat down. You also took the gap insurance off the table because Gap only pays the difference between what you owe and what the car is worth, and you owe nothing. You probably took the extended warranty off the table too, because most people who pay cash are not in the mood to add anything. You did not save that money. You just told the store where they have to go get it, and they go get it in the price of the car. Every time. That is not a conspiracy, it is arithmetic, and any salesman honest enough to have a beer with you will tell you the same thing. There is one more layer, and this is the one that pays for your groceries. Car companies hand out rebates. You have seen the ads, $2,000 off, $1,500 customer cash, whatever it is. Read the small print at the bottom of that ad, and on a great many of them, you will find a line that says, "The rebate requires financing through the manufacturer's own lending arm." They will give you $1,000, sometimes $2,000, to borrow their money. If you pay cash, you do not get it. It is not offered, it is not mentioned. The salesman does not lie to you, he simply quotes you the price for the customer you told him you were. So now you understand why the cash buyer, the careful one, the one who did everything right for 4 years, gets the worst deal in the store. Here is the counterintuitive part, and it is the whole video in one sentence. The loan is not the enemy, the loan is a coupon, and you are allowed to use the coupon and then give it back. Let me show you exactly how, step by step, in the order I would do it if I were buying a car next Saturday. Step 1. Get your own money lined up, and then shut your mouth about it. Go to a credit union, not the dealership. Navy Federal, Penn Fed, whatever local one you belong to. Get pre-approved for the amount, and get the rate in writing. It takes about 15 minutes online. This is not because you are going to use it. This is your floor. Now, no rate anybody quotes you can scare you, because you already know what money actually costs this week. Carry that number in your pocket and say nothing about it. Step 2. Buy the car before you go to the dealership. This is the trick that saves the most money, and almost nobody does it. Pick the exact vehicle, the trim, the color, and then email 8 dealers inside 150 miles. Ask for one thing, the out-the-door price, itemized, in writing. Those 4 words, out the door, are the magic ones. It means the price, with tax, title, registration, and every fee included, the actual number on the check. Ask them to send the buyer's order. Do not answer any question about how you are paying. If they ask, you write back, "I am comparing out the door numbers today." You will get 3 that ignore you, 3 that dodge, and 2 that send a real number. Those 2 are now bidding against each other by email at 9 o'clock at night, in your kitchen, where nobody can walk to a tower and nobody can offer you a coffee. Watch the fees on that itemized sheet. The documentation fee is the one to check. California caps it at $85. New York caps it around $175. Florida has no cap at all, and I have seen $999 printed on a form like it was a law of nature. It is not a law, it is a line item. Step 3. Answer the payment question correctly. It is coming. It always comes, usually in the first 4 minutes. What kind of monthly payment are you looking for? Here is your answer, word for word. I am not shopping payments. I am shopping the out-the-door price. Once we agree on that, I will tell you how I am paying. Say that and watch his face. You just took the 4 square away from him. There is nothing left to move around. Step 4. Keep the trade in its own envelope. Do not mention a trade until the price of the new car is agreed and written down. Then, and only then, ask what they will give you for yours. Get a written offer from CarMax or Carvana first, so you know the floor. And know this, in most states, your trade lowers the amount you pay sales tax on. Trade a car worth $20,000 in a state with a 7% tax, and that is $1,400 of tax you never pay. Sometimes selling it privately is not actually the better deal once you count that. Step 5. Now, and only now, ask the question that pays for the whole afternoon. Is there any rebate or discount tied to financing through the manufacturer? You are not agreeing to anything. You are asking what the coupon is worth. If the answer is $1,000, you say fine, write it up with the financing. Step 6. Survive the little room at the end of the hall. This is where the money is, so this is where the pressure is. You will be offered an extended warranty, gap coverage, paint and fabric protection, tire and wheel, key replacement, and something called VIN etching for about $300. That is a man with a stencil and a bottle of acid. Say no to all of it. You can buy a warranty later from the same manufacturer for less any day you like, up until the factory coverage runs out. There is no deadline. There has never been a deadline. Then do the thing almost nobody does. Read 2 lines of the contract before you sign. Find the words prepayment penalty and make sure it says there is none. Almost every normal auto loan in this country is a simple interest loan, which means you only pay interest for the days you actually have the money. Then look for the words pre-computed interest. If you see those 2 words, stop and do not sign, because that loan bakes all the interest in up front, and paying it off early saves you very little. Step 7, make 3 payments. Then kill it. Not 1 payment, 3. Here is why, and this is the part you will want to rewind. The bank pays the dealer that reserve check up front, but if the loan pays off inside about 90 days, the bank takes it back from the store. That is called a chargeback. A few dealers write a clause into their paperwork about early payoff to protect themselves. Make 3 payments and you are past the window, the store keeps its money, nobody calls you, and you keep the rebate. The math, plainly. $35,000 at 7% costs you about $200 a month in interest at the start. 3 months is roughly $600. The rebate was $1,000. You are $400 ahead, plus whatever you saved, by never telling them you had cash in the first place, which in my experience is another $800 to $1,500. Then you call the bank, ask for the 10-day payoff amount, send it, and in about 3 weeks the title comes in the mail with your name on it. One more thing on actual cash, and I mean paper money. If you hand a dealership more than $10,000 in currency, they are required by law to file a form with the IRS. It is called Form 8300. It is not a trap, and you have done nothing wrong, but people are always surprised. Use a cashier's check. Now let me zoom out, because this is bigger than one Saturday. The average new car in this country now costs close to $50,000. The average loan payment costs $740 a month. There are millions of households paying more than $1,000 a month for their vehicles. This is the second largest purchase most families ever make, and almost all of it is decided in about 90 minutes by somebody who is tired, hungry, and outmatched by professionals who do this 400 times a year. The saver, the careful one, walks in with money he earned and gets punished for it. That is the thing that finally wore me out. Not the sharp customers, the good ones. I remember a retired school teacher, a widow, 71 years old. She brought a check for $26,000 folded inside a birthday card so nobody would see it in her purse. She had saved for it out of a pension. She told me at the door she was paying cash because she did not believe in debt, and she said it the way you would say something you were proud of, because she was, and she should have been. She paid about $1,900 more than she had to for that car. Nobody in that building did one dishonest thing to her. She simply told us she had nowhere left to go, and so we did not go anywhere either. I have thought about that woman more times than I can count, and she is a large part of the reason I am sitting here talking to a camera instead of standing on a lot. Here is what I learned standing on that lot for 22 years, and I will give it to you the way an old sales manager gave it to me in a parking lot in 1998. The dealership does not care where the money comes from. It cares how much shows up. Every deal is a total, and every question they ask you is only there to find out which pocket you are willing to open. So keep your pockets closed until the total is written down. Here is what you do tonight, and it costs you nothing. Open your email. Write 4 sentences to 8 dealers who have the car you want. Say, I am ready to buy this specific vehicle this month. Please send me your best out-the-door price, itemized. I am contacting several dealers. Thank you. That is it. Send it and go to bed. By Tuesday, you will have real numbers in writing from people who have never met you and cannot read your face. And you will already be ahead of 90% of the people who will walk onto a lot this weekend. Then come back and tell me in the comments what the spread was between the highest quote and the lowest one on the exact same car. I read every one of them. Tell me your state too, because the fees are a different animal depending on where you stand. Next time, I am going to tell you about the phone call that comes 10 days after you drive off. The one where they say the financing did not go through, and you need to come back in and sign new paperwork at a higher rate. There is a name for that in the business. It has been going on for 40 years. And there is one sentence you can say on that phone call that ends it in about 11 seconds. You will want to hear that one before you sign anything. Until then, keep your money quiet and your numbers in writing.